And welcome to 360 Gamercast episode 148 for Tuesday, the 10th of January 2023. I'm your host, Mark Webb, Gamertag, Pearson ID, Steam ID, Webby360G, and joining me on this fine evening is...
Merry New Year, Nick Fights.
And Sensei Switch, here as usual.
The crew are back to the regular scheduled programming. It's been a while. I'm still got this cough. I'm going to try and hide it as much as I can with my mute button on my microphone. So nice to have everyone here. This is the Game of the Year extravaganza as well. So myself, Darren and Nick are going to run down our top games of 2022. And this is going to be the only awards that matter. Well, mine, per personal ones anyway. Don't listen to anyone else's. Yeah, so... Excuse me. I do have a little confession to make to you two. I said to you two that this
Don't
week...
you dare say top 10. Don't you dare.
No, so I said... So you two... So I said to you two it was going to be a top 5.
Yeah.
Nick said to me that he's only played 4 games that come out in 2022.
Played 5 now.
He's played 5, so he's got his top 5. I have a top 10.
Ow.
You did that last year.
Were there 10 good games that actually came out this year? Because I must admit, when I was going back through my Game of the Year selections, 2 games I didn't really want in my top 5 are in my top 5 because there's nothing else.
Wow. So I've got... So I've played too many video games. I've got a top 10 and 9 honourable mentions.
Bloody hell. I've got a couple of honourable mentions.
Yeah. This is how much dedication... This is how much dedication I put into this show. I played that many video games. And I haven't even played God of War. So that's one knocked out straight away. So, you know, crazy times ahead. Crazy times. So, I don't know how you want to run it, guys, because I know obviously you two've got a top 5. Shall we just run down our top 5 and then I'll do my 10 to 6 afterwards or something?
Yeah, are we doing like...
I mean, there's going to be crossovers. I guarantee you there'll be crossovers.
Are we just going to do like our 5th one each and then 4th one each like we normally do?
Yeah. Yeah, shall we do that? Oh, that sounds like a really good idea, actually.
Yeah, you can go first. That's your show.
Okay, or shall I do my 10 to 6 first and then we go down and do our 5s like round robin?
Go on then, get your 10 to 6 out.
Get it out for the ladies. Okay. Let's give me one moment because this is fucking awesome. And I'm set. Yeah. You guys are going to be so shocked with my games. You really are.
Not really, because you told us about everything you've played for the last year, so how would we not be shocked?
What? What are you on about? You have no idea. Well, you know what my honourable mentions are, because I put them in the chat.
Yeah, but you're talking about games of 2022, and you've told us every week what you've been playing, so, if, you know, we probably forgot, though. You do waffle on quite a bit, though.
I know, mate. I waffle on way too much. It is a problem that I do have. Okay, so my number 10 game is a little game called Arcade Paradise. And I'm amazed that no one else that I know has actually played this game, apart from one of our loyal listeners called Dodo. Hello, Dodo. Who actually sent me a personal message thanking me for this recommendation. It's been such a pleasure to play this game this year. So basically, a very brief rundown of it for those of you that haven't played it or forgotten that I mentioned it. You basically start off. You start running your dad's clothes washing and drying business, a laundrette, but then you start turning the back room into an arcade, and then you grow the business bigger and bigger, and then you can expand the back room, make it bigger, buy more arcade machines. But the cool thing about this game is as well, all the arcade machines in the game you can play. And you can also play the multiplayer, local multiplayer as well. And it's got like knockoffs of like Dance Dance Revolution, Pool, Tetris, like loads of old kind of games. But it's just got that added aspect of doing your day-to-day stuff as you're playing it and just building your business and getting it bigger and bigger. And it's just been one of those games this year that I found myself, just going back to. I actually went back to it a couple of days ago, just to enjoy it and just to play and just to carry it on. It's just one of those never-ending kind of games that you can just go back to every now and again. It just really has that nostalgia, like it has all like early 90s music, and it just feels really, really cool. So Arcade Paradise is a fucking awesome game and a worthy in the top 10. A worthy top 10 anyway. Cool. All right. So, number 9. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
I actually played this and forgot, so that sounds fun.
No way.
I completed it as well. No, I was then looking over. I was now looking through my list of all.
Yeah.
Because I have played games this year. I've played and completed 28 games on stream. So it's not like I haven't played, and that's completed like without like just playing like Resident Evil 2 every so often and bits of other games and Fortnite and stuff like that. But what did you think about it, Webby?
I loved it, and one of the reasons why I hit my top 10 is because one, I've had a lot of fun playing it with my son, but number 2 is when this came out, everyone was on it, and we actually. One of my fondest memories of this is that on the week it come out, we got 6 of us from the community all online at the same time, and we completed the game in one sitting, all 6 of us in 6-player co-op, and it was epic. I hadn't had that much fun in ages because it was just that banter, that old school banter was there. Just chatting to some people I hadn't chatted to for a while, like Clarky. And it was just a good fun time. You know, it's not a super long game. It's just like a classic arcade game, really, just a new one. And the fact it's got 6-player co-op and there was no lag or anything. It was so smooth. And we all just had a blast on it. It was just such a good game. So
yeah, I enjoyed it. I just like completely forgot about those few months when I was playing it. So
yeah,
but then because it was on Game Pass as well, when so I think that's why a lot more people played it as well. Because I don't think I'd have bought it if it wasn't on Game Pass.
No, I mean I probably would have because I buy a lot of games, but
yeah, but this is like a cheaper indie game. So I mean I don't know how much it is. What's it like? 20 quid, something like that. I don't know how much it was. I don't
20 something, I think.
Yeah, we wouldn't have paid.
I got it for Christmas.
Yeah, we wouldn't have paid like 70 quid for it, would you?
I don't think. No, because I'm not that much of a PlayStation fanboy, mate. I don't play the £70 games.
Yeah. Well, that's coming to Xbox this year now, isn't it?
Sorry, can you repeat that? I got distracted.
Yeah, well, no, they announced a couple of weeks ago that Xbox are going to be doing the £70 game this year, so...
Yeah, which I'm not happy about at all, but...
Well, it doesn't bother you, because you're
Game Pass, mate.
It's just a way for them to push Game Pass harder.
I think that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think, it makes Game Pass a better value proposition.
I'll give everyone a little bit of a New Year hint as well. Don't buy your games digitally, and you won't pay 70 quid for them.
Yeah, always cheaper to shop around.
You just pay £62 instead.
Well, not just that, Webby. I know you say it's 8 quid, but then if you finish the game and decide you want to trade it in, then you could get £40-50 back from CX or whatever they pay if it's a relatively new one. I know a lot of people. I think you used to do a lot of trade-ins, didn't you, Webby?
Yeah, I did. But the thing is, I don't really buy any games, to be honest. And if I do buy games, I'll buy them cheap on CD keys for the PC. But the problem is for Xbox, because I've got 2 Xboxes, which I've got one upstairs and one downstairs. If I'm going to buy a game, I'll buy it digital so I can have a go on it upstairs as well. You know what I mean? So, and I've only got an S upstairs, so I don't have that luxury of a disc tray.
Yeah, well, I got that. So I got my Series X in like my office games room thing, and then I got the One X in the living room.
Yeah,
which is cool because you play on one, and then you go play on the other, and it like syncs your save, and then you just carry on, don't you? Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I tried to do that with the PS5, and they were like, "Oh, you want to upload your games to the cloud and like re-download all your saves and that? I'll pay for PlayStation Plus."
Yeah.
I didn't know you had to pay that for PlayStation.
That's frustrating, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. But that is what it is. That was it. Sort of, I just done something on the Wi-Fi and left it overnight, and it copied everything over. So.
Oh yeah, it's not bad. All right, moving on to number 8. A little game called Lost Ark MMO for the PC. A lot like Diablo. So if you like your isometric type games. This is it, and the reason this is in my top 10 is just because for a good portion of the year I was addicted to this, and I still go back to it and play it every so often now because I've not actually even finished the main campaign story yet. So it is an MMO, but it's kind of odd. Like it kind of reminds me a little bit. Darren will know or attest to this. It's got a bit like Final Fantasy 14, where the main game you're running around on your own and doing your own thing.
Yeah, you can play it solo and do things solo on your own.
But then when it comes to then when you go to the dungeons, you can actually get an option in this. You can actually get the option to wait and queue and play it with actual people, or just do it on your own with AI. Well, just do it on your own. It makes it easier when you're on your own. So I've never had a problem queuing up. But the thing with this game is, and I do need to go back to it a bit more, which I have tried to do recently, it's just because the world is so big. There's like actual different continents on it, and you get a ship and you can sail between them, and then you unlock your teleports and you can teleport on that. But there's just so much content to this game, and it's free to play as well. So, and I've not actually spent any money on it apart from when I bought it. I bought the what was it? The Founders Pack, and it was like £9 or something, and that's all I've spent on this game. So, I mean, it does give you an option to do
kind of a fair price for
but
like that as well.
You can actually pay a monthly fee to get like all your teleports for free, get more storage space and stuff like that. But I haven't actually felt the need to do that as of yet. But it's a great game. I like it because it's very what's the word? Like all the characters. Well, because the game was out a good few years before it come out in the West. It's all the characters look really cool. You know, all their outfits are really cool. The girl characters are actually quite revealing, which we seem to have lost happening in Western games. It just reminds me of like the older.
Cut down from what they were as well.
I know, yeah.
Censored a bit.
But yeah, it's a very good game. So if you've got PC, then check it out. So I don't want to waffle on too much.
I've never heard anyone, even the people that kind of complain about aspects of the game, like some of the later sort of grindy content and stuff, still all say that it's a fantastic game and what it kind of does.
Yeah, because all the gameplay is really well. Like I'm this gun bloke or whatever, and I've got 3 different types of guns. You can just switch them on the fly, and you have loads of different moves you can do for each weapon. It's really, really cool. So, yeah, I love it, mate. It's such a good game. Very addictive, but I love it. Okay, moving on to my number 7 game of the year, and I'm surprised this wasn't higher for me, actually, but yeah, it just ended up there. Gran Turismo 7.
Wow, not in your top 5?
No, not in my top 5. I was thinking about putting it in my top 5, but we just kind of seem to have fallen off it now, which is a little bit of a shame.
It did come out really early, though, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. But the reason why it is in my top 10 is because I've had so many great gamer nights on this with like Venom and Laffer and Tag, especially. We've had a lot of good sessions. We were doing every Monday night Gran Turismo night for since the game come out. We've only recently just stopped playing it, and that's because Call of Duty has taken over. But I've absolutely been loving Gran Turismo this year. It's it's got a really good campaign which they've added on to in updates throughout the year as well. The graphics are absolutely stunning. There's no other racing game, even on PC, that even comes close to the graphical fidelity of Gran Turismo 7. And it's just the handling. I love it because I play it with the wheel. It's just all comes together. It's just a great game, man. And it's probably one of the only games that I've really been playing on my PS5 this year, to be honest. I think without this game, my PS5 would have just gathered a thick layer of dust. So, big props to GT7 for that. So
they announced this week that it's coming to PSVR, didn't they, as well?
Yeah, I think that'd be quite interesting to see. But yeah, I don't know the VR. I'm not interested, but I think that's a cool feature for those people that do have the VR, because I think there's going to be a new VR headset coming out for the PS5 as well. So I think that'll utilise it quite well, Darren. Yeah.
It's out next month, actually.
Oh, is it? Oh, bloody hell.
Mm. You can only order them from PlayStation themselves, though.
Oh, wow.
Fucking shit.
Yeah, you can't you have to
pre-ordered one.
I think you have to apply to buy one as well. You can't just go on there and buy one. You have to put all your details in and stuff like that.
I just couldn't be bothered. As soon as they were like, "Oh, you've got to go through PlayStation Zone," I'm like, you know what? Fuck off then. I'll just pick one up later.
Kind of not worth it, because they dropped the last one like really quickly, didn't they? And just didn't bother making any proper games for it. I think Resi 7 was probably the best, AAA game. I don't think, what else did they do?
Yeah, like the Farpoint. They brought Farpoint out, which was pretty interesting because they released that kind of controller thing for it that was like a rifle. But then I think only another game or so utilised it. You really need to start getting some of the bigger publishers on board with it. Obviously RE8 is going to be amazing with it, but obviously we'll have to see.
I think the problem with VR is not everyone likes it. It's quite expensive, and there just isn't the amount of games. You know what I mean? So I still think it's quite a niche thing. That's my opinion on it, anyway. Okay, do you mean to go on to my number 6 and then we can do our top 5s?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, and this will surprise people. This isn't even higher. The Dark Pictures anthology, The Devil in Me. This beat out The Quarry for me, which is in my honourable mentions because they both came out this year. If you've not played the Dark Picture games, people, oh my god, you're missing out. It's a really cool anthology. They've done 4 of them now. There's another one coming out. This one was a bit slow to get into, though. It took about an hour or two to get into, but once it kicked off, wow, what a game. And I had a lot of fun with this as well, because I played it again with other people in couch co-op, which makes it even more fun because you got people making decisions that perhaps you wouldn't. And it's basically set off. It's a murder hotel. It's like booby traps and various other things, and Oh, I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. The graphics are amazing. All the voice acting is great. They use actual actors. And it all just comes together so well. And I like it because it's not just one of those games like because it reminds me of the old like Fahrenheit type games and what was the other one that goes Jason Heavy Rain. Kind of reminded me like that, yeah. But it doesn't just rely on the button presses if your character's going to survive. The choices you make can be life or death. So, yeah, I thought it was a very smart game, and I absolutely loved it. So that's my 10-6. Are you surprised with any of those?
GT, I was surprised was lower than I expected, but
you thought it would be higher. Fair enough.
So how many of these dark pictures are there? Because I played the first 4. One was at Man of Medan. I thought it was good, but really short, and I didn't think it was worth like 30 quid or whatever it was I paid for it. And I was just hoping they're going to bring them all out on Game Pass or something, so then I could just play them like that. Because I didn't want to.
I might do like with the original trilogy when they get a couple more games in, I'd imagine.
Well, they've got a you can buy all 4 in one pack now as well.
Ooh, maybe wait for that to be cheap.
I think that's 40 quid at the minute, so yeah, might get it.
But they're all different stories, though, aren't they? They don't link.
Yeah, they're all completely different stories. Yeah, and they're fantastic.
Maybe if they come Game Pass, I'll get them.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, top 5 then, guys. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, who wants to go first? Because I've been rambling, so I don't think it's fair that I go first.
Go in order, Nick.
All right, that's my thing. Because obviously I haven't played loads, and some of these games I only just got. So, like I said, I've only played 7 games that came out this year.
Wow.
So obviously, what I said, Turtles, that, and another one when I looked was Proteus on Game Pass, like the old style first person shooter game. So those are the only 2 that are not in my top 5. So I suppose this one is there because I've only played it for like a few hours. Was it Sonic Frontiers? So that's my 5th game. I mean, I think that's pretty good. I like it. It plays quite well. I mean, a lot of the internet got really angry about it. It says crap and broken, but it seems fine to me. I haven't had any crashes or anything, and I just enjoyed it. It's a different type of Sonic game. You've just like, it's like open world and stuff like that. And like I say, it's really good. I mean, I like it, so I don't really care what the rest of them say. But,
it's a fantastic game, mate. It's
yeah. Well, so I've only played it for about maybe 4 or 5 hours because, like I say, I've been busy because I didn't get it until Christmas. So with other game. But is that anywhere on your list, Webby, or?
It's actually in my honourable mentions as well.
Ooh.
The only reason I didn't make my top 10 was because, like you, I haven't played it enough. I'm only in the second area because there's multiple open world areas. So I'm only on the second one. But what I've played so far, I've played about 5 hours or so, and it's definitely I would say it's the best 3D Sonic game that they've ever made. And that's only with not even finishing it. The graphics are great. The gameplay is fast and fluid. I like the fact that within the open world, there's these little, they kind of little tower things, and you go into little levels, and some of them are very old school.
Yeah, they were like you collect, like, I forget what that's called now, like the tokens that you can unlock those towers to play.
Yeah,
was it more generic Sonic levels, aren't they? Like,
yeah,
more of a like what I played before that, Sonic Dash.
Yeah,
like you're running at speed and collecting things like that. But like I say, the open world stuff is pretty good, and the boost, just running around collecting rings and stuff like that, and boosting and doing the thing where you hold the button and then you do the circles around the enemies to hurt them. That's quite addictive. And I've done a couple of, I don't know if they're full-on bosses or mini bosses, like a big tripod walker thing where you have to climb up him, like going through like the blue orbs, avoiding the red ones, and like beat him up. And there was another one which I did on stream. I was like, oh, I've got to do this now. Where he's flying, and you have to like jump on. He's kind of like a tail,
dragon.
but not.
Yeah,
like a big dragon thing. And you jump on his back, and then you're boosting really hard, trying to catch up to him on his. I don't think it is a tail, but it's. I can't explain. It's like a force field thing that you climb on, but you have to be really quick, and then you attack him and start everything. But I mean, I thought it was pretty good. I want to play a lot more of it when I get more time. But yeah, that's fifth. That's my fifth one. So something you know, Switch, yeah?
Yes.
So I'm having a bit of a coughing fit in the background. Just wanted to say, before we move on to Darren, Sonic Frontiers is a fantastic game, and I think if I played it more, it would be in my top 10. However, I've got it on the Switch, so my little boy keeps stealing it off me to play it as well. So yeah, he absolutely loves it too. Anyway, I'll be back in like 10 seconds. I'm just going to cough up a load of crap.
All right.
Fine.
I thought he wanted you to keep talking, Switch. You talk about your top 5 while he has dies.
Yeah, go for it, mate. Go for it.
Leave it for a pause.
No, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. So my number 5, I guess, Horizon Forbidden West.
Ooh.
Wow, that didn't even hit my honourable mentions, mate.
I think that's another one that came out early in the year.
For personally, it wouldn't have been in the top 5.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Did you finish it though?
No.
Oh, that's probably why. Then. I heard a lot of people say it's just more of the same.
I got about 2/3 of the way through it. It's kind of like I had my top 3 definitely done. And then everything else under it is kind of middling. So I just chose 2 games that kind of stood out for production and visuals and that kind of thing that I had a bit of fun with. So yeah,
makes sense,
Forbidden West, graphically probably one of the best games of the year. I think, according to Digital Foundry, it was their best looking game of last year.
Yeah, I don't agree, but yeah, okay.
Like the vistas are great, the locales and like the biodomes you go to are pretty cool and unique, and I like the fact that they did add a lot more sort of creature designs to the world. So you had some of the ones returning from the original plus new ones. The outfit stuff's pretty cool. The different tribes that you visit are also pretty good with the sort of like different characters you meet, etc. Combat's meh.
Yeah, no, I can agree with
the storyline's reasonably okay. Most of the characters apart from Aloy are pretty likable.
See, I quite like the main story, Darren. I think the thing for me when I played it was there was just too much. The open world just seemed like they'd added all this extra bullshit just as a time filler. I just couldn't get on with it. So I got to a point in the game where I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake, I just want to finish it now. And I just bashed through the main story because I was just getting sick of the world, you know?
Yeah, it's one of those games that I play for a few hours and then have to put down because it starts to wind me up, and then I go back to it, enjoy it for a few hours, starts to wind me up, turn it off. I'll sort of play it like that. But I do love the fact that it is one of those games where you can pause it, you can go to save, and you can save the game exactly where you stood and carry on from pretty much that point.
Yeah, that's good.
The next time you boot it up, unlike a game I was playing today, which I'll talk about next time I'm on, when we're actually talking about normal games. So yeah, it's a good game. If you like the original game, you're going to like it. It just didn't like blow me away like it did the original game.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I really hope Sony aren't starting to sit on their laurels like Microsoft did with like just pumping out the same franchises. Because I've found out with most of the sequels of them, they're not as good to me as the original. They lose a lot of that impact.
Yeah, no,
and
I know what you mean.
things that you might have forgiven with the original game in the sequel, you're like, no, I've had enough of this shit, like kind of thing. Like you can get away with it once. I'm not impressed if you're still doing it now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my number 5, Horizon Forbidden West. I'll still probably end up finishing it off and picking up the DLC. Is it like Burning Shores or something? Because I really liked the one they did for the original, which was all set in the Icelands and stuff.
Okay. Cool. No, I don't think that's a bad top 5. I don't think many people disagree with you on that, Darren, to be honest. But, yeah, cool. All right, my number 5 is, you'll never guess it unless you're looking at my screen right now. Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster.
Wait, hold on a minute. Did it actually officially come out this year?
It did. Yes, it come out 2022.
It's 30 years old.
Yeah, but it's a remaster, mate, so it's allowed to count because it's a proper remaster. Not like one of these just fucking shitty up-reses, mate. It's a proper. They redid all the graphics completely from the top down, bottom up, however you want to say it.
I suppose, but then I said Control was mine, and that was just a quick up-res, so I suppose I could allow it.
Yeah. So basically last year, and actually this is coming to the Switch this year as well, and PlayStation, not coming to Xbox. So the last couple of years they've been slowly bringing them out. Is the collection of Final Fantasy 1 to 6 Pixel Remaster collection. So 1 to 5 came out in 2021, but 6 got delayed until 2022, which is why this can be in my top 10. And Final Fantasy VI has been one of those games that I've always wanted to finish. And the first time I played it was in the year 2001. On the same day, I actually bought my OG Xbox. So I never actually properly played it and finished it. I've tried to go back and play it, but it's not happened. So of the Pixel Remaster come out, and I said to myself, right, I'm going to actually do it this time. And I played it through to completion for the first time ever, and I have to say, I wish I completed it back in the day, because this is one of my favourite Final Fantasy games, because it's just the story is just so fucking amazing. And they did such a really amazing job with the Pixel Remaster of all these games. They just look fantastic. Obviously the widescreen edition, and it just made it just look modern, like a modern release. So Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster, baby. Woo!
So with the remaster, have they modernised the graphics, or did they just crispen up the pixels from the original?
No, they modernised it. They completely they redid the whole game from scratch. So because you can
actually done that twice, didn't they, Webby? Because they did it for a mobile and Steam release where they redid them, but they did a completely different art style rather than have pixels. That's why they've called these pixel remasters.
That's right.
They did like a crappy phone cell shading type of thing.
Yeah. That's what I was instantly thinking, where they kind of put like a weird faded kind of like where they tried to smooth out the edges of the pixels, and it just looks shit.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, so they've. But I don't think you can't buy those versions anymore.
No, you can't.
You only get the pixel. If you've already bought them, I think you can download them.
Yeah, because I've got them, and yeah.
I take it you're still given the option to play the game in the original graphics.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, it's basically literally just the pixel remaster, and I really like it because obviously, if you actually go back and look at the SNES version, it looks. Now, if you know what I mean. It's 4x3 and it all just doesn't look. It looks old. Whereas this, you get those like those
Indie
modern
games.
Yeah, those modern pixel type games, like Octopath
Sort of, yeah.
Traveler. Yeah, it's kind of
right,
like that. Yeah, so fucking amazing. And there's a lot of people excited to get this on the Switch and PlayStation this year as well. So all good. So I could, in theory, buy it on the Switch and then have it as my game of the year again. Lols, but I won't do that. But yeah, it's great.
Mate, it took you like 30 years to play Final Fantasy VI once. You're not going to play it in consecutive years, are you?
No, I'm not. No, I only do that with 7 every year.
Did you play it this year?
I did. I did indeed.
Do you think we're still going to get 7 Remake Part 2 this year?
Yes, it'll come out at the end of the year. Just on another note, I know this isn't Game of the Year related, but this is Square Enix related. I actually turned on my PlayStation today for the first time in ages. And I remember Darren telling me on the last recording that we did about the Forspoken demo.
Yeah.
I played it today and I really like it.
Fair enough.
I think I might have to get it day one.
Did you muck about with the settings and stuff? Because obviously it doesn't start off in performance mode.
Oh, does it not? I thought it looked a bit slow. No, I haven't actually played it through to completion yet. I've saved it and I'm going to play some more of it tomorrow. But it's looking quite promising at the minute. But yeah, we'll talk about that next week. Okay, so shall we get to our number 4s then, Nick?
Yeah, so it's 4, and this one should probably be higher, but similar to Sonic, I only got it at Christmas, and I only got my PS5 at Christmas, so I haven't played it enough. But that's God of War Ragnarok.
Ooh.
But I've been playing this for maybe 5-6 hours in the last week, and I like this one better than the first one already.
Oh, really?
I don't know why. It just plays a lot. It just plays smoother, and it doesn't seem as clunky as the last one. Plus, the last one I started, because I mean it was like 4 years ago. It came out 2018.
Really, bloody hell, that long?
It came out 2018, like that. So, but then I started playing it, and then I moved, and then I started playing it again like a couple of months later, but I didn't start again, so I think that's probably why I couldn't really, I was sort of zoned out of everything that was happening. But with this one, I mean, I just really enjoyed it, just so quick and smooth, and the graphics are really nice. And I've also, you've started playing as Atreus now as well, which I mean, for how much I remember of I don't think you played as him at the first one, you could just control him a bit like pressing buttons, I think. You know,
that's his son, yeah.
Yeah, his son, because he's a bit older now. This is about, I think this is maybe 3 or 4 years after the first game.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, it starts off really good where you get like chubby Thor turns up and he's upset because you killed, I think one of the bosses you killed in the first one was his son.
Oh, yes, I remember now.
So he's upset and he wants, and then his dad turns up, Odin, and they want you to just, I can't remember, they wanted you to do something, and he's like, Kratos was like, nah, fuck you, fat Thor, and then they just started fighting like a big epic battle. Well, no, he just said, oh, like that then, so he just picked up the hammer, and then just smacked it, in his face, and it just sent him flying through the air, because obviously you can't move it.
Yeah.
And then he's flying after you with all lightning, just beating the shit out of you, which is a really good start to a game. I mean, this is the first 2 or 3 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So it's just a really good game.
It's actually about an hour or two in that.
All right, well, that seems pretty, all right, the first hour then, okay, correct me. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I mean, anything I think that's maybe they've added different to this one, other than you playing as Atreus, whether or not, well, someone might say you did play as him in the last one, but I can't remember. There's more of a dodge thing in this game where they're attacking you, they'll have a yellow circle come up where you can dodge, or a red circle where you know it's even harder to dodge, sort of thing, or almost impossible. And it's just a little bit harder to dodge because instead of just pressing circle or something like you would in a Dark Souls game, left and right, and roll out of the way, you have to double tap X and then a direction.
So it's also
okay.
to do with the blocks. So if it's yellow, it means you'll block it, but it will stagger you. And if it's red, it's unblockable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they've added that in, which is a bit harder for me to get used to. But like I say, I've only played it for a few hours. I'll probably get more into it. Plus, it'd help if, like, when they bring tutorials up on the screen, I'd actually read them, what they tell you.
Yeah, it would be handy, mate. Yeah.
But you know what I'm like, mate? I'm like, no, I know video games. I don't need to read tutorials. And then I'll get hours into the game, and then I'm on, like, Google and YouTube trying to work out how to do what the game told me to do ages ago. But yeah, really enjoying it. It should probably be a lot higher up on my list, but like I say, it's only came out recently-ish, and I only got my PS5 with that on Christmas. So
yeah, no, makes sense, mate. That's fair enough.
Yeah,
is it on your list, Aaron, as well, or?
It is my number 4, in fact.
Oh, double fours.
So I almost chipped in, but I was like, I'll let him go. I'll let you get all the happiness out of it. Again, this is just on my list because I couldn't think of anything else. It's, like I said before on the podcast, it's good, it's fun, it's enjoyable. But
worth 70 quid?
Well, no, I wouldn't pay 70 quid for a game unless it was a Japanese import or something that wasn't available for ages. But yeah, like I said, there's just a familiarity. I feel like I've played it before. You go into these areas and you go around doing all of the little bits in the area. Then you move to the next area, and then you jump on a sled or something and you go around doing all the bits in that area. And then you go to another area and you jump in a boat and you go around doing all the bits in that. It's a pattern. And it just keeps going and going. It's beautiful to look at. It's fun. The combat, but it can also be incredibly frustrating at the same time as well. It's just like Horizon to me. This is another game where it's like, yeah, I really enjoyed and loved the original game, but playing the sequels made me look back on the original game and think maybe I praised that a bit too much. Maybe that was a bit again, it's the feeling of new, the change of direction when someone does something slightly different, but it's already been done, and this is more of the same yet again.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, the best thing about the game is the story and the characters.
Yeah.
And the way it looks. Like, I don't get masses of super fun and enjoyment from actually playing it.
Well, I mean, like, the thing is with this is it was a lot of people's game of the year. When all the game of the year
I can generally see what it's the best parts for me. The most enjoyment and wonder I have playing this game is not even actually playing it. It is walking around in the environments and looking at new areas.
Yeah. Fair enough, mate. It's a good number 4.
I will eventually go back and finish it off. But again, this isn't a game I've finished. I haven't played it for 3 weeks, so I haven't felt the urge to even put it back on.
Oh, and you'll like this though, Switch, because I got it with my PS5, and I think Horizon was the disc, but this one was a digital download as well.
Oh, right, I didn't actually think you get disc versions with console games, with systems anymore. Anyway,
it's weird. Like, some of them do, some of them don't. I mean, I remember I got
what was the system you got?
The disc version with Ragnarok. I think that's the only one that seemed to be in stock. So it was
the Ragnarok official system. Like, it was the Ragnarok packaged version of the console.
No, it was just a plain white one with a Ragnarok download code and a sleeve. It wasn't like you didn't get the Ragnarok controller or any different colours.
No. What I'm saying is, like, when they do a game bundle, whatever game the bundle or whatever game is bundled in with the game is usually a digital code. If you got an extra game thrown in there by the retailer, that would be the physical copy.
Yeah. Well, no, because the Horizon Zero Dawn one did come with the disc and the case.
So weird.
Well, yeah, but that was obviously probably thrown in by the retailer, wasn't it? Or
no, it's a proper one, the proper PlayStation one. Because two of my mates bought one early last year. That's the one they got. And they both got disc
the
versions.
Horizon one. All right,
Yeah, the Horizon one was weird. That's what I'm saying. It's just weird. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. I mean, I'm looking my 360 Slim, where it gave like and it came with Skyrim and something else, and they were digital download codes. So so it's not like that's new, but it's just weird that sometimes they give you codes and sometimes they give you, the game with the case and everything. But never mind. Webby, so what's your third one, Webby? If you're finished.
We're on 4, mate. I'm still on 4. I haven't done my 4th, have I?
It's your 4th, number 4.
My number 4. Excuse me, my throat is pissing me off right now. My number 4 is A Plague Tale Requiem. I love this game. Absolutely adored it. I would have loved to have seen it higher up on my list, but my top 3 are just so fucking amazing. It couldn't quite make it, but I really enjoyed the first Plague Tale anyway, so I knew I'd enjoy this one. And I didn't play it on the Xbox. I played it on the PC, but I can imagine that on the Series X, this would be a real good graphical showcase for the system because it just looks gorgeous. Like this, in my opinion, this is better looking than God of War than the videos I've seen of God of War. It's just absolutely stunning. But yeah, just from start to finish. I mean, it's quite a long game, about 20 hours, and it just has such a good story to it. And I just really like the gameplay mechanics as well because there isn't really much combat in it. There's a little bit, but not much. A lot of it is stealth and puzzles, and I really like a good puzzle in a video game.
Oh, you'll love God of War then.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I know. I remember there being lots of puzzles in the first one. But yeah, it's just one of those games. I think because it's on Game Pass, I think this is one of the problems of Game Pass. Like sometimes people just kind of forget about games or just just be like, can't be asked to try or something, because I've not really seen a lot of discussion about Plague Tale. I know Peebs has played it and he really enjoyed it. But because this is on Game Pass, I would like to see more people in the community give it a go for sure, because it is a true gem of a game. Yeah, not much else I can say on it really without spoiling the story, which I do not want to do. But I will say though, if you do want to play it, excuse me, I would recommend playing the first game because this does carry on from it. I mean, you could play it without playing the
on Game Pass.
No, it's not on Game Pass anymore.
I think it was, but then they took it off.
It was
should be able to get it for under a tenner, I'd imagine.
Oh, it's dirt cheap, yeah. However, you could play it without playing the first one, but you will miss out on stuff. So I'd recommend playing the first one if you can. But yeah, such a great game. Yeah, just don't play it if rats freak you out, because it's yeah. But yeah, I loved it. Absolutely love this game. Excuse me. Top 3 then. We're getting down to the nitty gritty of it. Go, Nick.
Right, this one, I mean, this sort of came out of nowhere because I heard someone talk about it, and another Game Pass game, and I thought, oh, I'll give it a little go, and then I must have just, don't know why, I just ended up playing it for hours and hours. It's Vampire Survivors. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's such a, the weird thing is, it's probably a shit game, but it's just addictive. Like I said, it's so simple. There's pretty much no buttons apart from, your analog stick, and you just move up and down. It looks like an old, I want to say 8-bit game. It doesn't even look 16-bit. I think it's even 8-bit. You just walk around basically avoiding all the different enemies, whilst your character automatically attacks. Like guys, you'll have a whip or something like that, and just normally forward. But once you kill the enemies and pick up the gems for experience, you level up, and then you choose what to level up of your characters. It could be like one of the guys I use is a whip, which he hits forward, so you choose another whip so he hits behind him. And then you upgrade things like more damage, more health, more XP, more money, and that's the biggest thing in this is money. Like the more money you get, that carries over to like the main menu. Then you can get like permanent upgrades and things like that. So you start with like bonuses, like every time you level up because you've paid with gold for an update. So you like 10% more health every time you level up, 10% more energy, or things like. There's so many different things to do, and it gets absolutely mad sometimes the amount of stuff on screen. And yeah, it's just a really good game. I just didn't think it'd be, a game like that I'd play, because I'm not, even though it's a newer game, it feels like a retro style game as well. What about you two? Is this on your list? I didn't, because I know Webby played it, but I don't think you played it, Switch.
Oh no, I played it.
Yeah, not in your list though.
Don't want to say.
Darren's played it shitloads.
He doesn't want to say. What about you, Webby? Is that?
Yeah, I've played it quite a bit. Not as much as a lot of people in the Discord, but the good thing about this game is it's generated a lot of discussion in the Discord, which has been quite entertaining. I think it's a good game. However, I like to play in short bursts because all you're doing is walking around and it auto attacks. And then I get to about 12 minutes and I just get killed, and I'm like, well, that was fun. And then
I've almost, I think I've hit level 18. That's as far as I've got, and apparently people can get up to like in the hundreds.
I mean, I just don't get it because
highest level's 183.
Because it gets to a point where you feel like it takes so long to kill the enemies and then just swarm you and then you die. So it's like, well, okay.
Because you chose the wrong build.
Well, I don't know, man. I just like, yeah, whatever. Because it's one of those games you just pick up and play. You don't want to be fucking fannying around looking at guides and shit for a game like this.
No, I don't do that.
You just learn as you play. It's yeah.
I just play it like an hour here, an hour there, sort of thing. Get 2 or 3 things. I'm pretty sure there's a button on the main screen, like the home screen, where you can buy stuff, where you can reset everything.
Yeah,
so if I assume you get all your money back if you do that, or
you do.
Yeah. So if like you said, Switch, with builds and stuff like that, if you've not got the right one, so I think it's as simple as you want or as complicated as you want.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah,
it's like basically, I'll give you a little hint early on. When you're unlocking stuff and trying to earn gold and all the rest of it, garlic is amazing, and you will think it's one of the best power-ups ever.
Yeah, I get that sometimes.
It's actually the fucking one of the worst.
Oh, okay.
If you're going for completion runs, never use it.
Oh.
I'm sure there are people out there that do use it, but there's way better items that will keep the enemy at bay, and it's really weak late game. Strong in the beginning, but really weak late game.
Fair enough.
I'd say that depends on your play style, but there isn't really a play style, is there? You just avoid everything, avoid getting hit whilst trying to automatically hit everything else. But
there are set weapons and stuff that I generally go through, mainly due to the fact that their evolutions are tied to buffs that I want and need for obviously late game.
Fair enough.
Right, so that's my third.
Right, here we go. My meat and potatoes. My top 3 of the year. The real game of the year starts here. So my number 3, after long consideration, would probably be the King of Fighters 15.
Ooh. Continue.
I am a huge beat 'em up fan. Have been pretty much all my life, from the early days. King of Fighters 98 is probably my favourite fighting game of all time. So I do love this franchise. Unfortunately, there's still things missing that were present in 98. But as far as visual upgrades go from the previous game, the general character roster, and the way it plays, I really, really enjoyed 15. Unfortunately, you can't really go super in depth when it comes to fighting games, because it's literally pick 2 characters and off you go.
Punch, kick.
Yeah, although in the King of Fighters games, you pick teams of 3 and
Oh,
go
okay.
against other teams of 3, or you can do one-on-ones, etc. There's different options. One of the things that they added to this one, which is really cool, is there's like a DJ station in the game. And by completing the game with certain teams and certain combinations of different characters, you unlock music from loads of previous King of Fighters titles, including old SNK games such as Metal Slug.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That you can actually listen to while you're fighting.
Oh, that is cool. Yeah.
They're supporting it with DLC characters, and we know that because it's a fighting game. You can't ever have one that launches with a full roster anymore. And so there's more characters coming this year. I think we've got Shingo coming, and they've teased a few others, hopefully Kim, although I think he might have been announced. I'm not too sure. Still haven't picked up the last DLC pack, though, because like I said before, it's 3 souped up versions of characters that are already in the game and 3 characters from Samurai Shodown who, in my opinion, shouldn't be in the game. But yeah, so King of Fighters 15, my number 3 of the year. And you can also pick it up pretty cheap now. It's on, I think, available on everything bar the Switch.
That makes sense. I'm not really into the fighting games. There's not one I've played, so apologies if I'm a little bit quiet on that one.
It's fine.
I only just bought King of Fighters 14 on PS4, so. But that was like the Super Game of the Year Everything Edition for like, I want to say like £8 or something like that. I saw this one was cheap in, I think this one was like 15, was sold for like £15 in Smith's. So I don't know if it's sold that well, but then do fighting games sell that well compared to other ones?
It depends. They've obviously got a very niche audience, or niche, or fuck that word's supposed to be pronounced.
Small.
Yeah, small audience of people, which is why it's very hard for sort of like the fighting games to sort of grow. But at the same time, things that go super mainstream generally go a bit shit. So
yeah, well,
it's sometimes a good thing. I don't know, but yeah, it also had a lot of life breathed back into it when I figured out I could use my fight stick on the PS5, which I didn't think I was able to.
Nice.
My Street Fighter 5 fight stick that I had for the PS4.
Does it have crossplay?
I think it's coming. I don't think it does currently, but I think it might be coming or being added at a later date.
Is that on Xbox?
Along with like rollback. Yeah, it's on Xbox.
Because 14
wasn't.
No. Yeah, that's what I thought. So.
Did you know? Here we go. A bit of this old fucking chestnut again. Final Fantasy 14 is the only game in the UK or in Europe, as far as I'm aware, that never launched in a proper box.
Oh, it must hurt you so bad.
Fucking steelbook. So I never purchased it.
That's a shame, dude.
I've played it, but I never bought it.
Fair enough.
Day 1 edition, 5 years later.
Woohoo!
So yeah, I was glad to see obviously King of Fighters make a nice comeback. I think the next ones they're going to be working on is a new Garou Fatal Fury.
Has there got any crossover characters in it yet, or planned, or do we not know yet?
Well, there's obviously King of Fighters has always been crossed over between like Fatal Fury and the Art of Fighting universe, and Psycho Soldier and Ikari Warriors have always kind of been in there. Then within, I think it's 14, and in 15 now, they've got Samurai Shodown characters in there for some reason. Don't know why, but having characters with weapons take on people who use their fists is a bit for me, personally.
Yeah, because that don't always work. Because I remember, what was it? I think what game had Hitachi in it from? I think it was in Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah,
just
it was
didn't
so
feel
terrible on
right. It's just like his range didn't fit the game. So you had to get so close to use him, and if you did that, you just got chopped up to bits because everyone else had weapons and he didn't.
I mean, even with the Star Wars characters, when they had like Starkiller and Yoda and Darth Vader and stuff in like one of the Soul Calibers, they're still technically using swords, even though it's a lightsaber, so they still fight like most of the other characters. So yeah, there's a lot of characters I'd love to see come through from a lot of the other Neo Geo games, like Duck King and Mickey and John Crawley from Art of Fighting and stuff. They've got a huge character roster that they can work from. So, but we shall see. We'll probably end up with some horrible crossover characters from some other fighting game franchise before we get the characters.
Eddie Gordo.
See, I actually quite enjoyed Street Fighter Cross Tekken, believe it or not.
Okay.
Because it was interesting for me to actually play with Tekken characters in a 2D fighting environment.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's 2D, 3D. Like, 2D fighters are better than the 3D fighters, for me personally. And then after that, you get Arena Fighter, which is kind of like the black sheep of the family.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, anyway, on to yours, Webby. I've talked.
Well, number three? Number three? Just double checking.
Yeah, number three.
Okay. Final Fantasy VII, Crisis Core Reunion.
Oh,
a new one. Probably is that the newest game?
Newest, yeah.
Yeah. So, this is a proper redo of the original Crisis Core on the PSP. If you guys remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Remember playing
Still have it.
Yeah, I've still got my
right there.
I've still got my copy in a drawer. Oh, here.
And 2 copies of Dissidia Final Fantasy for some reason.
Oh.
I might actually buy one of those off of you because I smashed my copy of Dissidia.
Oh,
why?
Because it's shit.
Well, why do you want to buy another one
to smash?
Because I've got an empty box and I want it. I might as well just have it for the collection. It was one of those fighting games where I want to get up close to people, but they just float around throwing fireballs at you, and it's just like, I've got no time for that shit. I want to play a fighting game.
Wasn't there 2 Dissidias on there?
Yes, Dissidia 1 and Dissidia 2.
Yeah,
Anyway, getting back to Crisis Core.
All right, sorry.
Because this was originally a PSP game, they couldn't just up-res it. They've actually had to rebuild this game from the ground up, and they've done an amazing job with it. If you compare this to the original PSP version, it's like unrecognizable, really. I mean, this looks like a modern game, which is fantastic. I absolutely loved playing this from start to finish. It took me about 20 hours. But it was one of those games. Yeah, because I couldn't be asked to do all the side stuff, which I'm going to get into in a second. Because, because it was originally a handheld game, it still has a lot of those handheldy type gameplay mechanics. So at the save points,
I have heard this, yeah.
Yeah, so at the save points, you can select all these side missions to do. Oh my god, there's so many. It's unbelievable. But they don't take long, but it's just like, yeah, okay. You could tell that these were kind of time fillers for when you were playing on the PSP.
Sorry to go off topic. What was the Metal Gear PSP game that was like that? It was literally just built on all these missions, mini missions and stuff. And I'm sure one of them you could go up against the Rathalos from Monster Hunter.
Was that Acid?
No, that was like the kind of weird 3D top-down isometric one where you almost like a card game, wasn't it? Acid.
Yeah. Oh, the other one, was it Peace Walker?
Might be Peace Walker, yeah.
Peace Walker's the PSP one.
And stuff.
Yeah, the small
Peace Walker was the one with
full
full story.
Yeah, it has a story and stuff, but it had like all these like mad little crazy VR missions and stuff that were in the game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was. I want to say Peace Walker. I'm imagining. Where is it? It's there somewhere. My PSP games are like round the corner.
Yeah, so but the good thing with Crisis Core is apart from all those kind of little annoyances, like every single battle you go into it go in activating combat mode. You know, I don't know, it's really fucking annoying.
Yeah, I saw that someone streaming that. I thought that's getting irritating.
Yeah, it is. But the thing is, this is a game for like the true fans of the original Final Fantasy VII because this is a true prequel. So if you know the story of Seven and where Zack comes from, how Cloud appears in Crisis Core, and then I mean I don't want to spoil it, but what happens at the end? So basically, the end of Crisis Core is the beginning of Seven. Like they merge, which is just so cool. And I remember back in the day just being like my jaws on the floor when I finished the game. I was like, oh my god. But it's just really cool because it gives you a really good background to some really big characters that are around throughout of Seven, like Aerith and Sephiroth as a prime example. The Turks like Reno and Rude, you get some background into them as well, which is just really, really cool. So it's really good fan service. And this has been one of those games which people have been crying out for a remake for years and years because the only way that you could actually play this was a physical copy on the PSP. That was literally the only way you could play it. So it's
a lot of people argued with that, didn't they, Webby, with the Final Fantasy VII remake, where before they said that, where people said, well, you need to remake Final Fantasy VII, and everyone else was, no, you don't, it's fine the way it is.
Yeah.
You know, just get Crisis Core on consoles that people can play.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, I absolutely love this game. Apart from the little annoyances, I was hooked because it's been so long since I played it, I've forgotten most of it. So yeah, just mainly just the story just kept me going mainly on this. But if you know what you're doing throughout the gameplay, you can level up your stats quite easily because there's a way of like melding materia together. So if you're quite clever, you can meld them so you can max out your hit points quite early on in the game. Which makes the battles a lot easier. So have a look on. So if you're thinking of playing it, there's a few guides online which might come in handy. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Yeah, but it's just so good. I just couldn't believe that they'd made a PSP game look this good. I just couldn't believe it. You know, and as a massive Final Fantasy fanboy, like this is like the ultimate game that I had to get. I got it on launch and just rinsed it from start to finish. Absolutely loved it.
So, slight question.
Yeah.
Did they tie any kind of events into possible things with what's going on in the remake?
Spoilers, be careful.
Nothing.
Did they just leave it as the original
completely? Left it original completely, which I was really happy with. Yeah. A lot of people have been complaining on I'm in a few Final Fantasy groups on Facebook and Reddit, and a lot of people have been moaning about because they redid all the voice acting, and a lot of people are moaning about Zack's new voice, but it didn't bother me at all.
Yeah, I heard it's a Japanese RPG. They're all irritating as fuck. That's what they are. You know, I mean, it's not. I don't think it's as bad as Mr. Drippy from Ni no Kuni, but
they actually did a really good job of like voicing the remake, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too.
It was one of the first, one of the JRPGs I actually played through in the English voice dub.
Oh. Yeah, so that's my number 3, Crisis Core. I bet you're surprised it wasn't my number 1. Knowing how much of a Final Fantasy VII fanboy I am, but there we go.
Yeah, different games though. That's far more, like you say, quicker paced action combat.
Yeah,
based,
yeah. Cool.
So number 2 for me then.
Number 2.
You haven't said this yet, so this is going to be in your top. This is going to be your 1 or 2 then. It's COD Modern Warfare 2. I just that I didn't even play last year's. What was last year's one? Vanguard. Completely missed that because Cold War was. Well, the story was crap in Cold War. It's probably the worst COD I think they've ever done, campaign wise, and the multiplayer was okay. It seemed like some of the old Black Ops maps, and it was just pretty clunky, and just the guns didn't seem right. Whereas this one, I mean, pretty much day one for multiplayer, I thought, oh, I've got that bug again. I've got to play this every day for like a few hours, and like I say, campaign. I think that's the best one they've done for probably 5-10 years, probably the best one since the original 3 Modern Warfares and the early Black Ops, I'd say, because it sort of links in with some of the Modern Warfare. Webby's dying because he's in shock, but
sorry, I forgot to mute myself.
That's fine. But yeah, just really good, a really good COD, and I think it's the fastest selling COD they've done, or something, or over a short launch week or something like that. But really enjoyed it, and I think I like playing, let's say, the multiplayer. And the F1 map's probably my favourite map as well.
Yeah,
because that's pretty good. All colourful lights and stuff like that. The only thing that it's a bit odd that you can't just choose whatever gun you want and go for that. That you have to use all the different guns to upgrade and unlock maybe the guns you would want to use.
Yeah,
it's sort of forcing you to try all of them, but then if it makes the game last longer, then suppose that's good. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
It's a fantastic game, Nick, and it's worthy of a top 3 for sure. In my opinion, I think it is probably one of the best COD campaigns ever. Absolutely loved it. And has some of the best multiplayer of a COD that I've ever played. And that's purely because the main multiplayer is really, really good. It feels very balanced. I really like the game modes on it. It's probably my most played game this year as well. I've put in easily over 200 hours, I imagine. However, the other, I've really enjoyed all the modes on it because I've played them all, and it's nice to have a nice variety because the new Warzone map is very, very good. You've got the co-op campaign, or you've got the co-op missions, which are really well done, and I recommend people play them. They are fucking amazing. And you've got a raid, which we did. I did with Peebs a few weeks ago. It was frustrating as fuck, but still fun. And my favourite mode is the DMZ mode, which is like Escape from Tarkov, but better, in my opinion. And I've had a lot of fun on that as well. So it's just an all-round package which has brought a lot of the community together, playing together again. And it's just nice to see a Call of Duty just bring it back, because obviously Vanguard wasn't very popular, as you said. I think, COD had been on a little bit of a downward spiral for a while, but, for such a long-going franchise, to bring it back as it has I think is astounding. I love this game. It's fantastic.
But did you even play it, Switch, or do you hate COD now?
I haven't bought a COD for a while. It's just not sort of my cup of tea at the moment. It might be something I'd dip back into, but because the size of the games and the fact of all the things you need to install with them, it's like I can't be bothered. And I've got loads of other stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. Have I said my piece on COD? You want to say anything else, Nick?
No, it's a good one. I don't think it's like one of the best. I still think the original 3 Modern Warfare campaigns, I think those are probably the best, sort of like that. And then obviously got COD 2. I think that campaign's pretty good, but then that's just like an area to area. I don't think they had much in between. That's more events than actual story, isn't it? It's like, this is the D-Day bit, this is the, that. And I think I remember the first Black Ops was pretty good, but the rest of them, so maybe that's like the 5th best campaign for COD.
Well, it's your opinion, mate.
Yeah, but still good considering they've had like 20 of them. So
I know,
top 5 out of 20 stalk campaigns is pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. What about you then, Darren? What's your number 2, my dude?
Oh, it's a pretty small game. Already mentioned.
Yeah, I thought
Vampire Survivors.
Nothing else we can say on it, really, is there? We've talked about it.
It's like crack, the game. Especially for like nostalgic retro gamers that used to play games similar to that back in the day. Obviously your gauntlets and all that kind of stuff, but it's one of those things where you just look at it first off and you're like, what's that? I don't see the appeal.
Can I ask a question about it?
Yeah, go for it.
How do you do other levels? Because I'm only done the green level.
You have to unlock it by surviving for a certain amount of time. There's different challenges.
Okay.
This is it. It's an onion. It's not just a random game where you move a character around their auto attacks. There's just so much stuff in it. There's like items in the levels that you pick up to unlock things that enable you to then see other secrets hidden on the levels, which will unlock new characters, etc. Each character has different weapons and different stats.
Okay.
And you can just build your character in so many fun and interesting ways. Like, do you decide to go for damage? Do you decide to go for area? And different things can be truly crucial when you get to the latter part of the game. It's also probably the game I've watched the most people stream as well.
Oh, wow.
Throughout the year. I'll just watch random people streaming it because it's that kind of a game. Seeing what choices they make and thinking, I wouldn't have done that. No, you should have chosen that. What are you doing?
Okay, fair enough.
But it's that kind of game for everyone, especially if you're just watching people playing it for the first time.
Yeah.
Like once I'd say you get about 8-9 hours in, it all just clicks. This is the kind of game I'd imagine like someone like Dan would play on his commute to London and love it and just lose so much time in it because it's just such a easy, fun time sink. And even early on when you're going through the game, you're still earning gold, which enables you to buy passive bonuses that make the rest of your runs going onwards like that slight bit easier.
Okay.
But yeah, I've 100%ed the main game.
Wow.
And I've bought the Legacy of the Meanspell DLC, which was like £1.50 or something.
Whoa, breaking the bank, mate.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, this game alone, it's free on Game Pass. If you've got it, definitely try it out.
It's also free on your mobile phone as well.
Yeah, mobile phone as well. I think it's on most platforms. Don't know if it's on the Switch. Definitely not on PlayStation.
Okay.
But for the price it is, it's the best value game of the year without a fucking shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
For the time you get out of it.
Fair enough.
I'm partway through the new DLC stuff, but I've slowed down a little bit because I was like playing it constantly and had to sort of break away. So I've got some more fun stuff to go in and unlock with the new as I go in. So I've unlocked, I think, 2 of the characters and some of the weapon upgrades, etc. But there's still more to learn. Because there's been builds I've had on that game where I'm just like, holy shit, nothing is getting anywhere close to me. Like, not even near like the end part. You can unlock endless mode. You can unlock the ability to use magic cards that give you extra bonuses, like your projectiles will ricochet off walls or pass through more enemies, explode on impact. It's just a really well done game, and one bloke originally made that on his own.
That's cool, isn't it?
Using like Unity or something like that.
Nice.
And now I think he's grown to a small team of a small collection of people and sort of like actually doing more stuff.
Nice.
So such a great, fantastic surprise of the year. And just proving that sometimes simple, fun gameplay just trumps a lot of other things.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. Nice. All right, my number 2 then. What do you reckon? Whoa. My number 2 game of the year, Elden Ring.
Oh.
Dun dun dun. I bet you thought it was going to be my number 1, didn't you?
No, I think I've got an idea what your number 1 is. Maybe, I don't know.
Final Fantasy 14, mate. No. So Elden Ring, what a game. And well deserved the Game of the Year award at the Game of the Year Awards for sure.
Definitely, it's a fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic game. And what I loved about it as well was at the time when it came out, pretty much everyone in the community also picked it up. And we had a dedicated Discord room, and we were all just talking about our playthroughs and what we were doing. And the conversation was pretty constant for at least a month or two, which was fantastic. Gameplay wise, absolutely loved it. It was, like Dark Souls, but the open world was just a work of art, in my opinion. It really, really is. And the other thing I really liked about it was the co-op as well. So you could get your mates in, and you could do co-op in, you didn't just have to do co-op for the bosses. Excuse me, it would be like in an area, so you'd get an X amount of the area of the world that you could do co-op in, and once you beat a boss in that area, then the co-op partner goes. Yeah, but it just felt like, I don't know, man, when I played it, I was just in awe the whole time, because it was just the size of some of the bosses, just the art of the buildings and the world, and just how different areas just looked completely different, but just so amazing at the same time. It's just, I don't know what I'd like. I was just in awe the whole time I was playing this, but some of the bosses were a pain in the ass. And when you finally beat those bosses, you just felt like a god. It's just like that pure satisfaction when you beat the bosses. But yeah, it was very difficult, like the Dark Souls games. I had to use a bit of a walkthrough for some of it. But the map is huge. And the amount of variation you can have in your characters was amazing. And wow, such an amazing game. You guys want to chime in?
I played it for about an hour and thought, this is shit, and never played it.
Oh my goodness!
I played it for only about 15 hours or so.
Wow.
But it's like I do like those games and I love them, but then it's like there's part of them that I'm not a massive fan of, and then something called pull me away.
Right.
Like another game release or something, and it's just like then I'll just sort of forget to go back to it. But every time I sort of do go back to it, just dip in for an hour or so here or there, it's like it's fun and enjoyable.
I think what made it for me, Darren, was because I played it at the height when everyone else was playing it. When it came out, it gave you that push to carry on playing it because of the conversation.
Oh, and then I totally get what you mean. Yeah.
And then you had people available as well, like to come in and give you a hand with the bosses and stuff. I mean, obviously, if you go on now, you'd be able to summon randoms. But I think what made it for me at the time was I could summon in Peebs, as an example. And we'd have a good laugh trying to beat a boss together. And that's what kind of made it for me. And yeah, I just loved it, man. It's just such a great game. As I say, like when people say, if people say, can you give an example of a game that you think is a work of art, I would say Elden Ring for sure. It's just that good.
I mean, it looked nice what I saw. So when I played it after another game for just like an hour, if that, and most of it was like the character creation and things like that. I just wasn't in the mood to play that type of game because you do have to put the time in. You can't just play that for 20 minutes and then play it again. And you have to learn how the game works and all that. And I didn't have the patience to do it at the time.
No, and it's one of those games that you need to. You can't just dip off it either and play something else. You kind of need to dedicate all your gaming time to this game.
Yeah, I mean, when sometimes I go when I go back to Bloodborne, you sometimes need an hour just to get back into the flow of that type of game. So, those games are all good. But I mean, it looks nice. I'll play it at some point in the next 5 years.
Fair enough. But yeah, absolutely amazing game. And
great that a game that people were looking forward to lived up to their expectations of pretty much what they wanted.
For me, it exceeded my expectations. Because I really loved Dark Souls 1, didn't really get into 2 or 3, and then I was excited for this. But then when I played it, and obviously I finished it, but it was just wow. Absolutely. Well, I can't really think of any negatives to this game, which is pretty impressive because I can always think of something. But I just think of all the different areas in the world and how different they are, and just that sense of exploration. Because the good thing about this is there's no waypoints or anything like that. So you just kind of explore, and that's what made it. It felt very old school in that aspect, and that's what I also really enjoyed about it. So yeah, fantastic game. Elden Ring number 2. Right, let's get our number 1s done then.
Okay, so this
games of the year.
Well, this is obviously number 1 because it's mine. So anything you have, I don't, you could beat me, but I don't know. I don't know what your number 1 is, unless it's Final Fantasy 14 something expansion, which would be cheating.
No, no.
All right. So, can you guess what mine is?
No, because I thought you was going to be Call of Duty, but
no. Pokemon Legends Pokemon Legends Arceus or Arceus. I can't remember. I still don't know.
Well, it's definitely an arse, isn't it?
Oh, shut up, you slag! No, but I mean, this is a really good game. It's sort of, I must say, they announced it, and we were like, well, this doesn't look like a normal Pokemon game, and it's not. It's like an open world one. And it's probably the best Pokemon game I've played since, the Game Boy Advance ones.
Yeah.
Which were just better graphics versions of the first Game Boy ones, really. They haven't, from what I've played, I went maybe 10 years without playing any of them. And, because they looked exactly the same game, you start off, you see your professor, you get your Pokemon, your first starter, and it's always the same top-down, beat the 8 gyms, the Elite Four, game done. And all they did was change the Pokemon from the original ones, which everyone knows and likes, to weird ones that look shit that, a 10-year-old made. Some of them do, but, this one was just really good. The story kind of lost me a bit. They tried to do something with time travel and something, but I didn't really care about that. It was just like the actual play in it, and it's got that weird art style that I don't know if it's crap or beautiful. It's like Zelda Breath of the Wild. Yeah, but I still don't know now. I'm like, is this game really good looking or shit?
It just has that weird Nintendo art style.
Yeah, it's like pastel drawn kind of thing, and some bits you'll look over like a hill and think, oh, this game looks beautiful, and then you look up close to a tree and you're like, this doesn't have textures. This doesn't have anything to it, and the rocks are, the mountains are painted on a piece of paper and things like that. But it was just, I think, other than, what was it? I think it's like only the second Pokemon game where I've actually completed the entire Pokedex.
Wow.
Which, I can't remember if it was 240 something. I mean, I didn't have all the originals in, which is obviously all that I care about, and then some of the Gen 2. Anything after that, I've kind of loses me for most of them. But it's just a really good game, and obviously catching them all, and which they had the alpha Pokemon, which were really good, which were on the map because you'd actually saw the Pokemon you were fighting rather than just walk around in the grass and then just and then you go to the battle. You could actually see them and throw stuff at them, either throw a ball straight at them or battle and stuff like that. But the alpha ones Pokemon were like 5, 6, sometimes 10 times their actual size with red eyes, and they were like, really powerful as well. So I remember right near the start, if you turn right, that's the first one I saw, and I didn't know it was in there. It was like a huge alpha Snorlax. I was like, I want him. I must have a giant 30-foot Snorlax. And then he just like destroyed me in like one move. So I'm like, yeah. So maybe that's why when the game tells you these are alpha Pokemon, you probably want to be careful with these and not attack them until you've leveled up a bit. And then me with, tutorials being told what to do, I do the opposite and just got killed like 3 times in a row. But
fair enough.
But I think it's really good, and the newest one that came out a few months ago has got a lot of stick because it just doesn't run very well, and I just think it's a bit rushed. And plus, the Switch was it 6 years old now?
Yeah, and it was really old tech when it came out as well.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah, it was like a new. I think it's still pretty much 360. Sort of
lucky,
maybe a little bit between three. I thought it was between 360 and Xbox One.
Yeah, maybe that's just.
But I'm pretty sure it had the graphics card chip or whatever in that was the same as that Nvidia Shield. Can you remember that?
That's old as fuck now as well. No one, so yeah. I mean, the Switches are still selling like hotcakes, man. So I don't think they're going to be bringing out a new system anytime soon. You still there?
Mm-hmm.
I think we've lost Nick.
Or DLC. Well, because there's always a Pokemon game a year, isn't there? So there'll either be some kind of remake, or maybe they'll just do a big ass DLC and charge you £40 for that.
Well, there's Nintendo.
Yeah. So that's and that is the official number 1 360 Gamercast game of the year. Good night, everyone.
Is that the Pokemon that got maligned for all of the weird glitches and bugs? Or because I know there was like 2 Pokemon that released reasonably close together.
Yeah, that was the one I was talking about. This one was the good one at the start of the year. The one that came out November, that's the one that was just riddled with bugs, and it goes down to like 5 frames per second a lot of the time. And yeah, like it's got like game-breaking glitches, like will wipe your save and things like that as well. Which is what you want when you like put 40, 50 hours into a Pokemon game, that the game glitches and wipes your save. Yeah, but this one was pretty good. It launched working, which is normally a given for Nintendo.
Yeah.
But then they ruined that. So Nintendo have joined everyone else. They released broken buggy games. So Switch was your number 1 then?
Well, yeah, my number 1 was a game that came out quite early on last year. And as a hint, is coming to Game Pass this year.
Monster Hunter?
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Is that coming to Game Pass?
Well, yeah, they had a 1-year exclusivity on it, didn't they, when they bought it out? And obviously Bethesda were then purchased by Microsoft.
Oh, yeah, okay, cool.
So just like Deathloop, it's obviously going to come to Game Pass. But I like atmospheric games. And certain games like that always seem to pull me in a lot. And this was a game I played a hell of a lot when it came out. And I wanted to play it when I was away from it. Wow. And one of those kind of games, if you know what I mean. Like when you're at work or wherever you think of it, I can't wait to go back home and explore more and everything. But yeah, set in like an abandoned district of the city of Tokyo, fighting ghosts in like a first person, sort of using magical charms and stuff and hand signals. It's kind of weird, kind of different, like an FPS with magic, fighting against actual sort of creatures from sort of like Japanese supernatural mythology, etc.
It is freaky.
And it's just a really, really well realised version of the certain areas because I've been around them and they look like
That's
that.
pretty cool. How long is the game, Darren? Because I actually did
about
play it.
20, 30 hours, I think, something like
Wow.
that, somewhere around there. But you know me, I'm collectathon man. I go around and do everything. I was looking for all the spirits. I mean, I ended up probably playing the game about 6 or 7 hours longer than maybe most people because I didn't realise there was something I could equip that would basically highlight the direction to the nearest spirits because there's something thousands of spirits to find throughout the city.
Oh my god.
Where they're like the spirits of people that have been sucked out of their bodies and they're like going, and sometimes they've got like shrapnel going through their bodies and they're in agony, so you've got to like remove it before you suck them into paper totems and then mail them through a phone line somewhere. I don't know what. The story's a bit stupid and over the top and everything, but I like the characters you interact with. There was some interesting takes on perspective and such because you're dealing with spirits and the supernatural.
Yeah.
So there's a few of those nice parts to the game as well.
Nice.
So it was just a nice hit, come out of nowhere, got its fingers into me, and I played it to completion because I was enjoying it.
Excellent. That's fantastic.
Yeah. There's some cool soundtracks in the game as well while you're going around.
Yeah,
There's
I didn't
actually
play
like
much.
weird nightclubby music that's I think just created for the game, but it sounds similar to the kind of stuff that plays in those districts of the city.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, graphically it looks amazing because I played it briefly, maybe an hour or two, and then
it has a downside.
Yeah.
And that's the Tengu. I've talked about them before.
Yeah.
They're
those
basically the flying crows that are
yeah.
And they're quite loud, like obnoxiously loud. They might have fixed it in a patch or something, but when you're sort of sitting there trying to drink in this nice spooky atmosphere and stuff, and you've got that fucking going on, it's like really. One of the coolest spirits you'll encounter in the game is basically like a giant woman in a red dress and a red coat with a massive pair of shears.
Weird.
And she patrols the area really slowly, and wherever the zone is around her, it's basically like the world is covered in like a mixture of oil and blood running down buildings and stuff.
Very odd. Oh yeah, I look forward to playing it on Game Pass then. Get some Chivos on it.
I'm sure you played it anyway. You've got it on the PC.
I do. I've only played it for a couple of hours and I kind of fell off it. I think it's.
I mean, it's reasonably easy. I platinumed it, so
yeah.
No, I haven't platinumed many games on PlayStation. I've never felt the need or the effort, but that one I did. I was like, yep.
Yeah, it was just really weird timing because when it come out, and then I went to Australia, and then I come back and I just kind of was like, I couldn't be asked to put it back on again, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a shame because it is on my backlog along with many other video games at the moment. But yeah, it looks, from what I played, it was pretty awesome. Cool. I was not expecting that as your number one, mate. I don't know what I was expecting from your number one, actually, but...
It's been a funny old year. It's like there's been a lot of good games, but I never really truly got into many of them fully.
Yeah, I know.
And the ones that started to pull me in, I started to find bugbears or bits where I was like, and then another thing comes in and it pulls you away. That's just the way it works sometimes. And I found it to be one of those years.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Easily pulled from game to game.
Yeah.
But this year, I'm hoping is going to be pretty fucking incredible.
I think it's going to be good.
Stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go for the ultimate number one game of the year then, from the Webmaster 3000. I don't think anyone's going to be surprised by my game of the year, actually, to be honest. My number one game of the year is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
I thought as much. I think I saw you say it in the group when it came out that this might even be my game of the year.
Yeah, and I'm not going to. Excuse me. I'm not going to go into it too much because I blabbered on about it loads when Nick had it as his number 2. But it's just, in my opinion, probably one of the best Call of Duty games I've ever played. And I think, as I said before, like the thing that made it the game of the year for me is just the variety and the addition of the DMZ mode, which I'm just completely hooked on. I think it's one of the best game modes that they've added to a Call of Duty game. I know it's ripped off Escape from Tarkov, but they've made it a lot easier. So I just love that risk reward factor. You can lose all your stuff if you get killed on the big map, and yeah, it's just a fantastic game, and I'm just loving the multiplayer. There's always people playing it as well, which is great, because you don't get many games that come out these days where there's always your mates playing them online like the good old days. You know what I mean? I mean, you look at Battlefield, that's come out on Game Pass, and still no fucker is playing it. Whereas Call of Duty, every day I could play with someone if I wanted, and that's just a great feeling. And I've been playing it that much, I've actually maxed out my level for the season and done all the season pass already, and there's still like another 28 days or something until the reset. So yeah, that's how much I've been playing it, and I even bought it twice. I bought it on PC and on Xbox. So if that isn't the sign of a good game, I don't know what is. So yeah, easily it wasn't really a tough decision to make this my game of the year, to be honest, just because of how many hours and how much fun I've had with this game. So yeah, Call of Duty, baby. I feel like the podcast has just started again because I'm pretty sure Modern Warfare COD 4 was game of the year that year, and our first year of podcasts. So yeah, all good. There we go. Okay. Time is ticking on, but I just want to run down very briefly. I'm not going to talk about them much. I'm just going to run down my honourable mentions because there is games that didn't make my top 10 that came out in 2022 that I feel that people should try. So The Quarry, which is made by the same people that made the Dark Pictures, Devil in Me. Again, just a fantastic game and well worth a try. It does take a couple of hours to get into though, so yeah, just give it a few hours. I'm surprised no one's mentioned Lego Star Wars. That came out in 2022.
On Game Pass as well. Obviously, I got it for Christmas and then it came on Game Pass, but I haven't played it, so
yeah, so
apparently it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a really good game actually, and the reason it's in my honourable mentions is because me and my boy have been having a heck of a good time playing it couch co-op, which has been absolutely fantastic. So that's definitely an honourable mention. Pac-Man Museum Plus, for me, is a fantastic collection of Pac-Man games of old. Even some of the old console games, which I did enjoy playing back in the day on my old Atari ST. And it's done in a really nice way where you can move around the arcade cabinets in your little arcade for all the Pac-Man games. So I really enjoyed playing that, and I need to get back on it. Sonic Frontiers is in my honourable mentions, but as I say, Nick had it in his top 5. A game that I know a lot of people in the community have enjoyed is Pentiment. Now, this might have made my top 10 if I hadn't have only played about 4 hours of it. So it's a really good game actually. It's on Game Pass, and it's basically kind of a 2D point and click type game, but there's a lot of reading involved. And it does take a little while to get into because I was thinking, why is everyone banging on about this? But then something happens, which I'm not going to say, and then it gets even better. So check out Pentiment. Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide. It's on Game Pass, but only on PC. Not sure when this is coming to console, or if it is ever going to come to console.
It's been put down for Xbox, and there's Xbox versions you can buy online and stuff and pre-order. But
there's no release date.
Just testing it, yeah.
It's really good. It's like Back 4 Blood, but in my opinion, it's better. It's just a lot of fun. The upgrades are good. There's a good selection of levels. It's 4-player co-op online. I've been playing a lot with Darkest Frost and randoms, and it's just a fantastic game. So I'll just leave that there. Another Game Pass game, Trek to Yomi. I really enjoyed that game. Old school kind of black and white ninja side-scrolling game. I really love the art style. It was something very different to what we are all used to. So, highly recommend it. Do you know what? Game Pass has been fucking brilliant in 2022. It really has. Like most of the games that I've been playing that have been on my list have been on Game Pass. It's pretty amazing. There's been no PlayStation games on there for me apart from Gran Turismo. And the last game, which is PC exclusive, is a game called We Were Here Forever. Basically, an escape room type game, 2-player co-op online. Had a lot of fun playing that with Wes this year until he vanished into thin air. It's been some. I think 2022 has actually been, or it was, a very good game, a very good year for video games. Especially if you take into account there was a few big games that I hadn't played, like God of War. So I know a lot of people were moaning, saying there's no games to play, but I think I've just proved to you all that there was quite a lot of good games that came out in 2022.
But Pokemon was the best.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to add before we end it?
Soul Hackers 2 was pretty good for a sort of JRPG. It just became slightly repetitive with the sort of dungeon things.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, it was really cool. It would have made it a lot better if it was more kind of open as well. When you go to the districts, it's literally just a district. You just go in a door and you get like a cutscene.
Oh, 2 people exciting.
Where like the pit faces come up at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
And they talk even though they're supposed to be in the location. It's like, no, I actually want to go in the location, please.
Shall I read out the community's ones from Discord?
Yeah, go for it. Read out some of those, yeah.
So what's my tag? He's only got a top 4. So number 4, F1 Manager. Number 3, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Number 2, Modern Warfare 2. He says it's the best campaign in years, and the multi is great. And Gran Turismo 7 was his number 1 game of the year. The Monday night sessions were epic. Yes, they were, tag. D-Twin, number 5, The Quarry. Number 4, A Plague Tale Requiem. Number 3, Call of Duty. Number 2, God of War. Number 1, Elden Ring. Honourable mentions for him are Vampire Survivors and As Dusk Falls. Good games. Okay, Mr. Jelly, top 5. Number 5, Marvel Midnight Suns. Not really okay, interesting. Number 4.
Look, it looks interesting from what I've seen of that, to be honest. Like the actual combat bits are supposed to be pretty decent, but I've heard people moan there's a lot of walking around chatting to people and stuff in the game.
Number 4, Sniper Elite 5. I actually forgot about Sniper Elite, to be honest.
Yeah, that was a Game Pass day 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was actually really good. I had a lot of fun with Peeps on that. I can't believe I missed that off my list.
Honourable mention.
Honourable mention from me then, yeah. Number 3, Horizon Forbidden West. Number 2, God of War. Number 1, Elden Ring. I think Elden Ring's going to be the community's game of the year. Bolo. Number 5, RimWorld Console Edition.
I've got an idea of what Bolo's going to finish.
Number 4, Way of the Hunter. Number 3, Vampire Survivors.
Yeah,
number 2, Pentiment. And at number 1, surprise, surprise, Elden Ring.
Yeah, I think it's Bolo who's put the most time in on Vampire Survivors on my leaderboards.
Wow. Where am I? Clarky79's cheated, but I'm gonna read them, so he's out anyway. Number 5, The Gunk. I don't even think that came out last year. Number 4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. Number 3, Lego Skywalker Saga. Number 2, Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels DLC. Number 1, Battlefield 2042. He says he knows it was 2021, but he properly finished it in 22. You cheated. Your top 5 is deleted. Where are we? Dodo. Number 5, Hard Space Shipbreaker. I've not even heard of that. Number 4, Vampire Survivors. Number 3, Arcade Paradise. Nice.
Oh, there you go.
Number 2, Warhammer 40k Darktide. And at number 1, Modern Warfare 2. St. Adams. Number 5, Modern Warfare 2. Number 4, Gran Turismo 7. Number 3, Need for Speed Unbound. Wow, I've not had anyone mention that.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I haven't put enough time in with it for it to really be in.
Number 2, WWE 2K22. And number 1, Destiny 2 Witch Queen expansion. I think we need to discuss your taste in games, Adams. Okay, Dragon 421. Number 5, Power Wash Simulator. Oh my goodness. And
didn't you play a lot of that?
No, my son did, not me.
I know a few people that said they played that because it was just a really easy, chill game to just get back and play.
It's just so funny. Number 4, Sniper Elite 5. Number 3, another edition for Arcade Paradise. Number 2, Metal Hellsinger. Not heard of that.
Heard of it.
And at number 1, Deathloop, because it came out on Xbox in 2022.
Wow, that is nice.
Brewski Doo. Number 5, Tinykin. Number 4, Vampire Survivors. Number 3, You Suck at Parking. Number 2, Lego Star Wars. And at number 1, Pentiment. I've noticed that all of those are Game Pass games. Wow. Okay. Turner. Number 5, Dying Light 2. I thought it was a bit shit, but there we go. Number 4, Destiny 2 Witch Queen DLC. Number 3, The Callisto Protocol. Didn't that flippy flop?
Interesting.
Yeah. Number 2, Forza Horizon. Oh, my eyes are going. Horizon Forbidden West. And at number 1, God of War Ragnarok.
That's decent, yes.
Darkest Frost. Number 5, Elden Ring. Number 4, F1 Manager 2022. And number 3, Modern Warfare 2. Number 2, F1 2022. And number 1, Warhammer 40k Darktide. Wow. That's
obviously having fun sessions on it.
Yeah, we have been having some good sessions. And Steffi Business put his top 3 on Facebook. He's got top 10. Sorry, I just expanded it. Wow. He's got one of his games actually that I need to add as an honourable mention because I'm hooked on it. Just give me 2 seconds because my throat is killing me.
How long have you had that shit now?
Over a month.
Are you over the hump though, you reckon?
Yeah. Definitely getting better. If you can believe it or not. Okay. Number 10, Trek to Yomi. Number 9, MLB The Show 22. Number 8, Lego Star Wars. Number 7, Return to Monkey Island. Number 6, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. Number 5, Call of Duty. Number 4, As Dusk Falls. And number 3, a game which I should have added to my honourable mentions because I'm addicted to it on my phone, Marvel Snap. Yes.
Oh wow, is that? Oh right, yeah, I suppose, yeah.
It's really good.
Well, Yeah, old Collie started that, didn't he? What was that game he used to play?
Oh.
And it was like something Heroes 2 and that or something.
Oh, so it'll come back to me, but yeah, can't remember it now.
Hero Academy or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, dear. Number 2, Vampire Survivors.
Nice.
And at number 1, Elden Ring. So there we go.
Solid.
That is everyone's Game of the Years that they put in on the Discord and the Facey Books. That's our top games of the year. I think it's been a nice selection of games, actually. It's quite nice to see.
It's been varied. There hasn't been like massive like leading winners. No, that Elliot will probably do is. I did the math and calculated them all together, and this is the top.
Yeah, we'll let Sly do that.
That's what I say. He usually does it most years.
Yeah, we'll let Sly do that.
Even though we've got a different number 1 though, so that means that's a good year.
I can see though already that that Elden Ring has got the most votes. Easy.
It also is now apparently the most awarded video game of all time, isn't it?
Wow,
I think
saying
it's
something.
past the awards or whatever. I just remember seeing something on Twitter. It was like, fair enough, good.
Yeah, it is a fantastic game. Cool. So on that note, guys, I think that's it, right? In under 2 hours, Game of the Year show. I think that's pretty good going.
Yeah, that is probably a record.
Yeah, I think we've done well.
But there's only been 3 of us on there. If you add in another host, at least.
Oh no, it'd take bloody ages, wouldn't it? I think 3's the kind of the perfect number.
Oh, I don't know. I like 3 and guest. 3 and guest is good.
Number.
Or in general.
We can start bringing guests in now because I've got a community guest channel on the Discord and a few people have filled it in. So I'm going to start calling on those people to come on and visit us. So if you are interested and you're listening and you don't know about this, there is a section on the Discord called Community Guests. Put your name down and we'll invite you to come on and join us. Cool. And now we're back to a nice regular schedule, which is all good. Cool. All right then, guys. I think that's the end of this week's show then. It's been awesome. I've enjoyed running down my top 10. You know I do that every year, trick you all.
Pretty much, yeah.
Cheater.
Well, I can't help it if
I fucking chastise you.
I know. I just can't help it that I play so many games, as I say, so we'll see how this year goes. Oh, I'm looking forward to Hogwarts Legacy. That is going to be my next purchase. Yep. 10th of February, my B-Day.
Isn't it something pretty much like we've got 2 weeks from now and it all starts to just kick off right through until like the end of March, beginning of April.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you hit June, you've got like 3 big hitters. Street Fighter 6, Diablo 4 and Final Fantasy 16.
Wow. Yeah. Crazy times.
And I'll be playing Skies of Arcadia on the Dreamcast.
Wouldn't surprise
and
me.
we still don't know a solid release date for Starfield yet, and apparently it's the first half of the year. I'd say around. Wow. I'd actually suggest, personally, I suggested this to a mate and he got upset, but I was like, I would release it the same day as Final Fantasy 16.
What? What's the matter with you?
Starfield.
Why? Why would you do that?
Because Final Fantasy 16 is only on the PS5. That way, the people on PC and Xbox have got something to play.
That actually makes sense
cool
now.
Strategy, I think.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
I can't believe it's only coming to PlayStation. It's a good thing my missus convinced me not to sell my PS5 because I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think it's got a year, like a 6 months to a year exclusivity.
Wow, I can't believe it's not even coming to PC on launch. That's really upset me.
Well, they did it with Final Fantasy Remake as well, didn't they?
Looks like I'm buying a game for 70 quid this year. Oh,
buy
dear.
it physically and don't pay 70 quid.
I will be buying it physical.
Webby, the only reason she didn't let you sell your PS5 is because she know you'd want to buy it back again within 6 months and probably pay more than what you did what you sold it for.
Probably, yeah.
Do you think we'll see a Slim this year? They keep talking about it.
Nah. I think if anything, rumours at the end of the year or middle to the end of the year, not necessarily. I don't know if this year or early next year or something.
I think they're just going to do slim versions, but there's going to be no pros this gen.
I don't think they're going to bring out any refinement of systems this year at all. Because they're only just managing to get the stock into the stores now. And they've already been out a couple of years.
People are screaming for a new Nintendo system as well, aren't they? Because the Switch is getting on a bit now.
I think that came out that, they found out that there was a Switch Pro, which Nintendo cancelled.
Right.
So then they just did an OLED instead. So I think they were going to use an OLED screen for the Pro, and they were like, "Nah, let's just put OLED version out and not bother," which is good. I
wonder if it was one of those things where it was like one of those upgrades. I wonder what they ended up doing with the 3DS or whatever, where it's like always a Uber version and only one or two games
pretty much
support it. And then by that point, they might be wanting to look forward to the next actual system, or you end up sort of diluting the market and confusing people a little bit with, in theory, what happened with the Wii U and the Wii.
Well, the thing is, as well, is I think they're making quite a lot of money per Switch sold now because the tech is quite dated. And when you compare it to the Steam Deck, I know there's 3 models of it, but the model with 64 gig of storage, it does take SD cards, but it's 350 quid. It's only a little bit more than a Switch, OLED Switch, not a lot more. And the Steam Deck is way more advanced. It can play pretty much every single fucking Steam game. You know what I mean? So
you dock it. Can you dock it?
Yeah, you can buy a dock as well. Yeah. So Nintendo are really milking that cow at the moment. They really are. So yeah, but people love it. Anyway, guys, I need to end it. My little boy's just woken up, so probably perfect timing. But it's been emotional, and hopefully see you both again next Sunday.
Yeah, are we normal show next Sunday, or are we, because you say you've got the PlayStation specials coming up soon, haven't we?
Yeah, we'll do normal next week, and then we'll hit
actually got a family thing next Sunday.
That's fine.
Yeah. Just thought I'd let you know. So
we can do a different day if you want, or
I was going to say you can either do a different day, or you can try and find someone else. And if you're not, then we can do it on a different day.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm flexible, man. I'm flexible. Doesn't have to be Sunday. It can be any day, really. Just as long as we all are on the same page and happy, that's fine with me. But we'll talk about that in our WhatsApp chat then. Yeah.
Any days that you guys can't do or whatever.
I can do any evening, so I'm pretty easy, mate. Just need to give my missus a bit of a heads up. That's all. Cool. Excuse me. Right, I'm going to go and rest my throat. And I'm going to say see you later. So from me, Mark Webb, Gamertag, Pierce on the D, Steam ID, Webby360G.
Nick Fights on the Twitter and the Twitch.
That was very fast. So thank you very much. If you would like to join the Patreon, head on over to patreon.com/360gamercast. And you get a podcast every single week of the year, £5 a month, and all our specials. And we are going to be starting our PlayStation specials, not next week, the week after, so in a couple of weeks' time. So if you want to listen to them, you'll need to subscribe. So anyway, thank you very much. We will see you next week. Goodbye.